There are clothing brands in your closet right now that no longer exist. The companies behind them went bankrupt, the names were sold off, and new owners kept putting those labels on completely different products. You have been buying from dead brands without knowing it. This video is about 8 of them. One was built by the first woman to ever found a Fortune 500 company, and they sold her name to JCPenney 4 years after she died. Another closed 175 stores this year alone, and you can still order from them online tonight. And when you see which single company keeps ending up with the names of the dead, you will understand why the labels tell you nothing anymore. Number 1. Liz Claiborne. In 1976, a woman named Elizabeth Claiborne Urtenberg started a fashion company with her husband Art and 2 partners. They had $300,000 and an idea that nobody else was pursuing. At the time, working women in America had 2 choices. You could buy a men's suit cut for a woman's body, or you could buy something pretty that did not belong in an office. Liz Claiborne gave them a third option: clothes that were professional and feminine and built for a real woman's day, from the morning commute to the after-work dinner. The company grew faster than anyone expected. By 1986, Liz Claiborne Inc. became the first company founded by a woman to make the Fortune 500 list. Annual revenue crossed $1 billion. Department stores gave the brand its own section on the floor, something almost unheard of for a women's label at the time. Liz Claiborne, the woman, stepped down in 1989 to focus on charity work. She died of cancer in 2007 at the age of 78. 4 years later, the company that still carried her name sold it to JCPenney for $268 million. Then they renamed themselves Fifth and Pacific Companies to distance from the brand entirely. They kept Kate Spade, they kept Juicy Couture, but the name of the woman who built the entire empire, the name that made the Fortune 500, the name that dressed a generation of American working women, they let it go to a department store chain where it became a private label hanging next to Arizona jeans. That is not a partnership. That is an afterlife the founder never chose. And if you pick up a Liz Claiborne blazer at JCPenney today and compare it to one from the 90s, you will feel the difference in your hands. The name survived. The standard did not. The next brand was in every woman's shoe closet. And the company that bought it out of bankruptcy is about to become very familiar. Number 2. Nine West. If you worked in an office in the 1980s or 90s, you owned a pair of Nine West pumps. That is not an exaggeration. Nine West was the shoe brand for the American professional woman. Affordable enough to buy without guilt, stylish enough to feel good walking into a meeting. You had a pair in black and probably one in navy, and you wore them until the heels gave out, and then you went back and bought the same ones again. The brand was founded in 1978 and grew into a footwear empire. By the mid-90s, Nine West was the #1 women's shoe brand in American department stores. Then came the leveraged buyout. Sycamore Partners bought the parent Jones Group for $2.2 billion in 2013 and loaded it with debt. By 2018, the parent company filed for bankruptcy under $1.6 billion in liabilities. The debt did not come from bad shoes. It came from financial engineering by people who never set foot on a factory floor. The Nine West brand was sold out of the wreckage for $340 million. The buyer was Authentic Brands Group. Remember that name. Today, Nine West still exists as a licensed label at various retailers. The shoes still carry the name, but under licensing, the company that controls quality is not the company that built the reputation. When a brand becomes intellectual property managed for royalty income, the incentive shifts from making a great shoe to making a profitable deal. The pumps might look the same. They will not last the same. Number 3. Coldwater Creek. This one is personal for a lot of women watching. Coldwater Creek was founded in 1984 in Sandpoint, Idaho, and it understood something that mainstream fashion refused to acknowledge. Women over 40 wanted to look good without dressing like their daughters. That was the entire business model, and it worked. The catalog arrived in your mailbox every season. The clothes were not trendy, and they were not trying to be. Linen jackets, cotton knits, pieces that fit a real body. By the 2000s, Coldwater Creek had grown to 350 stores and was doing $1 billion a year in revenue. Then internet retail changed the game. Coldwater Creek could not make the transition fast enough. In 2014, the company filed for bankruptcy and closed every single store. The assets were eventually sold to New Times Group, a Hong Kong-based procurement company. The brand was relaunched online, but the company that a woman in Idaho built from a kitchen table catalog operation is gone. The linen and cotton blends that defined Coldwater Creek have largely been replaced by polyester. The fit system that loyal customers trusted is gone. The catalog might have your email now instead of your mailbox, but the product behind it is a different product. The next brand had 500 stores around the world. It lost them all because the founder fell down a staircase. Number 4. Laura Ashley. In 1953, Laura and Bernard Ashley started printing headscarves in their flat in Pimlico, London. With 10 pounds worth of linen and a few silk screens, Laura Ashley built a world. The floral prints, the prairie dresses, the Victorian blouses. By the 1970s, it was not just a fashion brand but a lifestyle. Wallpaper, curtains, bed linen. A woman could dress her entire home in Laura Ashley. The brand crossed the Atlantic and opened more than 300 stores in the United States. American women embraced the romantic English cottage look with the same devotion as their British counterparts. Then in 1985, Laura Ashley fell down a flight of stairs at her daughter's home. She was 60. She died 10 days later. And without its founder, the company drifted for 3 decades. Overexpansion, identity confusion, a revolving door of owners. Like a garden nobody was tending. In March 2020, Laura Ashley entered administration. Every store worldwide closed permanently. The brand was bought by Gordon Brothers, an American firm that specializes in distressed assets. Not fashion people, asset people. Today, the Laura Ashley name appears on wallpaper and bedding sold through licensees. The dress that a generation of women wore is gone. The wallpaper remembers, the wardrobe does not. 4 dead brands so far. And the question you are probably asking is, which brands can I actually still trust? I ranked 85 clothing and shoe brands from worst to best in my brand guide, with the exact quality checks to tell a real brand from a zombie in 60 seconds flat. The link is in the description or scan the QR code on screen right now. Because there are 4 more brands on this list, and the next one is the most recent death. It happened 4 months ago. Number 5, Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer, the man nearly froze to death on a fishing trip in the Cascade Mountains in 1920. He survived and spent the rest of his life making sure nobody else would. He opened a shop in Seattle and in 1936 patented the first quilted goose-down jacket in America. That invention changed outerwear forever. The brand became an American institution. At its peak, it operated more than 220 stores across the United States and Canada. Then on February 9th of this year, the company that ran those stores filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Every single location began liquidation sales. An auction was scheduled for March 6th to find a buyer. Nobody bid. Not one qualified offer. 175 stores closed permanently. But here's the detail that tells you everything about how this works now. Authentic Brands Group, the company that owns the Eddie Bauer name, had already transferred the e-commerce and wholesale licenses to a separate company weeks before the bankruptcy filing. The profitable parts were pulled out. The stores were left to die. The name survives. The shops do not. You can still order an Eddie Bauer jacket online right now. It will arrive with the same label. But when the stores are gone, the field testers are gone, and the only thing left is a licensing company collecting royalties. Who is checking the downfill? Who is testing the seams? The answer is a company called Outdoor 5 that most people have never heard of. The next brand is the one you wore to the interview that changed your career, and the company behind it fell the same way. Number 6, Ann Taylor. In 1954, a store opened in New Haven, Connecticut, named after its best-selling dress. Ann Taylor became the uniform of the American professional woman. The power suit, the structured blazer, the pencil skirt. When a woman walked into a law firm or a corner office for the first time, there was a strong chance she was wearing Ann Taylor. The brand did not just sell clothes, it sold the idea that she belonged there. At its height, the brand operated more than 1,000 stores across several labels, including Loft. But the parent company, Ascena Retail Group, had been on an acquisition spree. In 2015, Ascena bought Ann Inc. for $2 billion, adding it to a portfolio that already included Lane Bryant, Catherine's, and Justice. The debt piled up. By the time COVID hit, Ascena was carrying more than $1.3 billion in funded debt. In August 2020, they filed for bankruptcy. Private equity firm Sycamore Partners bought Ann Taylor and Loft out of the wreckage. The brand still operates today. The stores still exist. But under private equity ownership, the focus has shifted visibly toward Loft, the lower-priced sister label, because the margins are better. The Ann Taylor line that built the brand, the structured suiting, the quality wool blends, has quietly thinned out. If you have noticed that the blazers feel lighter than they used to, you are not imagining it. The company that built Ann Taylor is gone, replaced by a structure that treats the name as an asset class, not a legacy. And here is a detail that ties this list together. Ascena, the company that drove Ann Taylor into bankruptcy, also owned Dress Barn. We will get to that. But first, one more brand that ABG quietly collected. Number 7, Jones New York. Jones New York was the brand you wore to Macy's when you wanted to look put together without overthinking it. Founded in 1970 by Sidney Kimmel and designer Rena Rowan, it became one of the most recognizable names in American women's workwear. Quality without flash. At its peak, the brand generated more than $1 billion in annual revenue. In 2013, Sycamore Partners bought the parent Jones Group and carved it into pieces. Nine West went one direction. Stuart Weitzman went to Coach. Jones New York was left to fend for itself. In 2015, every single retail location closed. The brand was sold to Authentic Brands Group. There is that name again. Today, Jones New York exists as a licensed label at discount retailers. The woman who used to pick out a Jones blazer at Macy's can still find the name on a rack somewhere. But the company that Kimmel and Rowan built, the one that understood exactly what a 45-year-old woman wanted to feel when she got dressed in the morning, that company does not exist anymore. The last brand on this list is the one that closed the most stores, 650 of them, in a single year. Number 8, Dress Barn. Dress Barn was founded in 1962 by Elliot Jaffe, who opened his first store in Stamford, Connecticut. His wife, Rosalind, designed the clothes. The concept was simple: career wear for working women at reasonable prices. No pretension, no luxury packaging. Just a good dress at a fair price. The kind of place where a teacher or a nurse or a receptionist could walk in on a lunch break and walk out with something she felt good wearing the next morning. The formula worked for 57 years. At its peak, Dress Barn operated 650 stores across the United States. It was not famous, but it was everywhere. And for millions of women, it was the most practical store on the Strip. Then in 2019, the parent company, Ascena, the same Ascena that would drive Ann Taylor into bankruptcy a year later, announced it would close every single Dress Barn, all 650. The name was bought by an online venture called Retail E-commerce Ventures and relaunched as a website, a brand that existed for nearly 6 decades as a place you walked into and tried things on, reduced to a checkout button. Rosalind Jaffe designed for real women who needed a dress by Friday. The website does not know your name. Now step back and look at the list. 8 brands, 8 deaths, and one company kept showing up at the graveside. 9 West, Authentic Brands Group, Jones New York, Authentic Brands Group, Eddie Bauer, Authentic Brands Group. ABG now owns more than 50 brands, including Reebok, Brooks Brothers, Forever 21, Juicy Couture, and Barneys New York. They generate $38 billion in annual retail sales. Their founder, Jamie Salter, has said publicly what the business model is. We do not buy distressed brands, we buy distressed companies. Big difference. He is right. The brands are not broken, They are dead, and ABG puts the name on a new body and sends it back out into the world. And that is the thing nobody tells you at the checkout. If a brand you trusted 10 years ago suddenly feels different, if the fabrics are thinner, if the sizing changed and nobody explained why, it probably means the original company is gone and a licensing house is running the name. The label will not tell you that. Check who owns it. Check who makes it. That is where the truth is now. The name is not the company. Read the maker, not the label. Which of these brands do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments. And subscribe so you don't miss the next one.